What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Cafe Entree podcast. I am your host, Cafe Entree, where we discuss the latest and the newest things that's happening in the world of film, food, and pop culture. If you haven't got a chance, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and follow me so you can keep up with all the latest news and all the latest videos that I come up with. So, now with that being said, let's get into it. These these Hollywood award shows, at one point they was the award shows that everybody would tune in to watch, but then after a while they started to fade off. The ratings was low, and a lot of people have not been paying attention to them. Well, now that has started to change because you look at what happened with Will Smith at the Oscars, and now what recently happened at BAFTA. You just sit there and say, all right, what's going on? Like, are they doing these things to try to push ratings to get people to know about these award shows? What's the deal with this? We're gonna get into it, and I'm gonna give you my opinion. So, at the BAFTAs, which is the British version of the Oscars, you had all the celebrities came out. Everybody was coming out to check out the award show. You had a lot of nominees. Everybody was excited about the show. And once the show begins, Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo are the first presenters of the award. And during their time on the stage where they're talking about the award and about to do the nominees and things, you had this guy by the name of John Davidson who started blurting out racist things, and he said the N-word. Now, I want to give kudos to Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo for keeping it cool, being professional, and not folding during that time. But this guy was just saying a lot of things the whole time at the award show. And from what they're saying, hey, he has Tourette syndrome, so he might say some things that might be offensive, that people don't like. Can you please excuse it? That's what they was just pretty much saying. Like, they wanted people to ignore this guy and ignore the things that he's saying. But it's hard to tell Black people to ignore when someone says the N-word to them, especially a white person. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. But the most disappointing thing that everybody is talking about was the way that the situation was handled by BAFTA, if I'm saying it correctly. Well, I'm not going to say BAFTA, I'm just going to say baffled, because it left everybody baffled. So, as I said, during the whole time, other people up there getting their awards, and this guy is just blurting out saying all type of disrespectful shit. Then when the people who won these awards, they were saying some things that BAFTA, baffled, edit out. Like, you have one guy who won an award and he was saying some things about free Palestine or something, and they edit that out. So, number one, why is it that you edit out some of the things that the winner said, but when this guy used the N-word, you kept that in there? Can somebody explain that to me? Because at the end of the day, disrespect is disrespect. You can't say, okay, we're going to take these things out because it's disrespectful. But him calling them the N-word, that's not disrespectful. You know, we're going to keep that in there. The second thing is, why was this guy even invited to the awards show? So let me take that back. Let me take that back. This is not number 2. This is number 1. Why was he even invited to the awards show? Because if you know you have somebody that says things or that's going to do things that's going to be very offensive to people, there is no way in God's green earth that you're going to allow that person to be at a high profile event like this. There is no way. And not just even an award show, but just anybody. You're not gonna want that person anywhere around you, because you already know that, hey, this person has a mouth on them and they're gonna say and do some things that at the end of the day, I don't want to be put in the middle of, because it's gonna make me look bad. Now, I understand that, you know, he was nominated for a movie that was based upon his life and stuff. I get that. But at the same time, they should have did a better job with handling this situation as far as with him. The second thing is, during that time when he was saying all these offensive things to people, why did they allow him to stay there and continue it? The moment that he said the N-word, they should have immediately cut the commercial and showed him the door. The only words they should have said to him was goodbye. Now, some people will say, well, you know, he's got a condition, so he's going to say some things and stuff. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not buying that. I'm just not buying that. Because he has Tourette syndrome and he says some things, but it's mighty funny and strange. It's mighty interesting that when he saw 2 black people, the first word coming to his mind is the N-word. So where did he learn that word from? Wait, how did that just pop in his head? But all the other people that was up in there, he was cursing at them and all that, but I didn't see him say anything, any other racist things to them. But he did it to Michael Jordan and Delroy Lindo. The third thing, when Baffle left that in, decided to not edit that out and leave him saying that, was, it made people feel some type of way. Especially black people, it made them feel some type of way. Because you should have just edited everything. But the fact that you're going to allow him saying that word and keep that in there, it says a lot about you all as an organization. And not only that, it shows how you really feel, especially towards black talent. Because if this was a black person saying some racist things towards a white person on stage, they would immediately kick his ass up out of there. Or if they know that he has a condition or that person has a condition where they say and do disrespectful things, there is no way they're not going to allow that person there. That's number one. They're not going to allow that person to even be there. And they're going to give you some excuse to say, well, yeah, he was nominated for the award, but we're not being discriminatory or anything, but because of his condition, and we didn't want that in the atmosphere. We didn't want it to cause any type of problems. We want people to feel safe. We want people to feel respected. So that's the reason why we didn't invite that person. Now, if that was, I'm just saying that's what they would have done if that was a black person with that type of condition. But by this being a white dude, they didn't do that. They welcomed that with open arms. So you just sit there on all these things that just took place at this award show, and the only thing that comes to your mind is, really? That's how y'all feel? That's the only thing you say. Now, you have people like Jamie Foxx and some other people that came out and spoke up about it and was voicing their opinion. Because at the end of the day, there is no excuse that you can say to try to cover this up, to cover up your actions, period. There's nothing you can say. Nobody wants to hear it. In my opinion, I think what should happen is, because of the way that they handle this situation, that a lot of talent in Hollywood should not even go back to the awards show. This is just my opinion. I just feel like they shouldn't do that, because they shouldn't even attend the show because of the piss poor management and how they handle this, and you allow this to happen. That I believe that some people are going to probably be like, when it comes up again for the awards show next year, that some people are going to be like, yeah, I'm not going there. I'm not going. I'm not going. Because this is an incident that could have been handled properly, that they just refused not to do. They just refused not to do anything. But I'm just curious to see how this is going to pan out, how they're going to handle this, what is Baffle going to do, which is pretty much nothing they can do. But we just have to sit back and see. Stay tuned.